Kick it off. So my name is Chase Knight. I'm a CrossFit Level 2 trainer at CrossFit FIF. I've been the head coach of my gym for about 5 years. I've been doing CrossFit for about 7-8 years, and I've been in the fitness industry for about 15. I've been a military fitness instructor since 2010. All right, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right. So with that said, if you have questions on anything that I'm explaining, please ask. All right. There are dumb questions. All right. I'll be the first to actually finally say that to you if no one ever has. But if you are not understanding the material, then just ask. All right, I will definitely explain it. And I can explain it in layman's terms where everybody can understand it. So I'm going to briefly go through. I'm going to chop down a ton of information down into a small block. All right. The concept is that I want you guys to take what you do in here and understand kind of the physical aspects of training, right? And the conceptual idea of what you're doing and put it into application on your own, okay? I know a lot of you guys maybe don't have gym memberships, can't afford it, don't know where to go, whatever, right? But the common thing that, I hear a lot of young soldiers talk about is I don't have time, all right? That's a super common excuse. I don't have a gym membership and so on. So the whole point of this is to eliminate that shit. Right? I am completely addicted to Instagram and I'm on it way too much. I know I have time in the day to actually work out. That would be an excuse to not, right? So every single one of you guys does something that is not moving your life in the right direction. And if you want to be in the military, fitness will move your life in the right direction, okay? Especially from E1 through E4. I promise you that the fitter you are, the easier your career is going to be, okay? Any questions before I kick it off? Sweet, awesome, love the participation. So, what you're doing today is CrossFit, okay? Understand that the Army PT test is switching gears, okay, to functional fitness, i.e. CrossFit. It's going to be a 6-test event that measures a lot of functionality, right? A lot of different components outside of the push-up, sit-up, and 2-mile run. As in, you need to know how to pick things up off the ground. You need to have the core strength in order to bring your body from a dead hang position and raise your knees all the way up to your elbows. You got to be able to toss a medicine ball. You got to be able to do a somewhat, think of it like an obstacle course, but it's a 300-yard shuttle sprint with things involved, right? So carrying stuff, moving stuff from one spot to another. You still have the 2-mile run. That's the only thing I really disagree with. And you have the deadlift. Okay, hand release too, right? Okay, so there's a lot of components is what I'm saying, and it's all in a shorter period of time. So if you're not used to what that kind of stimulus is, it's going to mess you up, all right? It's going to tear you up. It is not like a regular PT test. So that is why when we bring you guys in here, we're trying to give you a different aspect and a different look at what training can be like, okay? But training is not a punishment. Okay, working out is not a punishment, all right? All it does is help you out in life in general, okay? It makes life easier. The fitter you are, the easier shit is, okay? So we want you guys in this team aspect so that way you understand how to work as a team. It makes it a little bit more fun. The competition setting kind of gives you a little bit more drive, right? But we want you to push yourselves, but what you are doing is CrossFit, okay? So let's talk about CrossFit. What is CrossFit? The textbook definition is continuously varied functional movements performed at high intensity. Breaking that down, continuously varied just means that I am going to mix up the workouts as many times as possible. You're not doing the same workout twice, right? Today I'm doing box jumps and push-ups. Tomorrow I'm doing deadlift and pull-ups. The next day I'm doing sit-ups and running. And the next day I'm doing squats and push-ups, right? We can mix up the variance in so many different facets. Okay, understanding that I can do, how many of you guys have heard of Murph? The workout Murph. Holy crap. Jesus, watch a movie. Even Mark Wahlberg is in Michael Murphy, okay? Michael Murphy. It is a benchmark workout in CrossFit. It is a 1-mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1-mile run. 2 standard is with a weighted vest. Okay, Michael Murphy was a lieutenant in the Navy. He was a Navy SEAL. He was killed downrange. trying to save his buddies, okay? That was his standard workout that he did in order to warm up for his other workouts, okay? Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, how you perform it is exactly how I listed, right? That requires a certain stimulus. But if I mix up the format, if I do a 1 mile run, and then if I do 5 rounds of 20 pull-ups, what's that, 30 air squat, or 30 push-ups and what, 50 air squats, right? Yeah. If I do that and then I cycle through it, it's a completely different stimulus. Same workout format, right? The end result as far as volume is the same, but the stimulus is different, okay? So I'm varying the workout to get a different response. Does that make sense? So continuously varied, okay? Functional movement. Functional movement is anything that is found in daily life. It is normal recruitment patterns, as in if I'm picking up a thing of dog food, right, and everyone can kind of picture that, I'm going to pick up a thing of dog food. I am deadlifting it up off the ground. If I'm bringing it to my shoulder, I'm doing a hang power clean, okay? That is a functional movement. It's found in daily life. It's stuff that we naturally do, okay? If I am taking a box from down below and I need to put it on the top shelf, I'm doing a clean and a jerk, and I'm loading the box, okay? So they're safe, they're natural, okay? It requires what we call core to extremity. This guy is our core, all right? This is where we gather the most amount of strength, so that way it goes to these little dudes, right? It's power output, okay? So functional movement is power, okay? So the movements that you do in here is you're not gonna go and I'm not gonna say, all right, you have 20 minutes, I want bicep curls and tricep extensions, go. Okay, it's an isolated muscle group, okay? No, I'm gonna tell you to do a pull-up. Large muscle groups, large power output, okay? Small muscle group, small power, okay? So I want the most amount of muscle recruitment as possible through your movements. Does that make sense? Sweet. And then last is high intensity. High intensity is interval training, all right? How many people have heard of like Insanity, P90X? Okay, pretty common stuff. That is interval training, okay? That is interval training. At the baseline of it, that is interval training. Interval training, all it does is we're gonna jack your heart rate, we're gonna spike it, we're gonna lower it down. Spike it, lower it down, all right? This will recruit an anaerobic feel, okay? Anaerobic versus aerobic. Anaerobic is where we're burning our energy, as in our fuel, as in food, right? In order to perform the workout. Once we switch gears and we go to aerobic, that means that our carbohydrate, our sugar intake has been depleted, and now I'm relying on stored body fat, but also once a person is so lean, that's when they're relying on muscle mass, so it's not as effective, okay? So high intensity means that intensity is where you're gonna get the most stimulus out of your workout, okay? If I sent you guys out on a 2 mile run at the slowest jog possible, what happens after that 2 mile run? Just tell me what you feel. Okay, you're fast as shit, all right? You run like a 12-minute 2 mile. I know you run faster, but a 12-minute 2 mile, right? If I sent you on a 16-minute 2 mile, how would you feel at the end of that 16 minutes? Kind of tired. When you cross the line, would you be able to have a conversation with me?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. That's what I'm talking about. So, understanding that, results come from intensity. I need you to run the 12-minute mile, right? When you run that 12-minute mile, you're out of breath, right? You got to regain yourself. You depleted your energy, right? What happens is if we're talking about body fat, so this is where intensity brings the most amount of results, okay? I'm going to bounce around a bit, but the lower body fat percentage, the healthier you are, okay? There is no health marker out there that doesn't correlate with a low body fat percentage, okay? And I'm not talking about trying to be ripped and stuff. I'm talking about trying to be healthy. So what I mean is that when you deplete your energy source and you have that intensity factor, your body has to go into a recovery mode, okay? So if I sent you on a 16-minute 2 mile, you would recover from that 2 mile 2 to 3 minutes, right? Just like regain your composure, and then I could probably send you on another 16 to 18-minute 2 mile because you're conditioned for that, but I probably could do that, and you would probably hit it, right? You recovered already. Now, if I made you run a balls out 2-mile run, and think of that for any of you guys, if you emptied the tank on a 2-mile run, what happens sometimes? Like you sit there, you think about life, did I make the right decisions, right? And then you go, holy shit, maybe you lost your lunch, okay? 30 minutes later, you're still a little fucked up, right? Think about that. Think about that feeling, right? But the thing is now your body registers what that stressor is, okay? Improvement comes from stress. So when you guys go to basic training, they're gonna give you a rifle, right? They're gonna give you your M16, M4, whatever you get, okay? They're gonna make you stand there and hold it. 10 minutes later, boom, your arms are gonna fail. Your arms are gonna fail. Your arms are gonna fail. The next day, 12 minutes, your arms will fail. In 3 months, you're holding that bitch for 4 hours, and then you just realize that I'm conditioned to hold it for 4 hours. Because you're stressing your body, right? When you stress your body goes, man, I don't really like this, okay? I want to recover. And I'll talk about like homeostasis and stuff here in a little bit. But basically what happens is your body goes, man, that was really shitty and I don't want to feel that again, so I need to be better, right? So that's when we're talking about tearing down muscles. That's when we're talking about improving our time. Because if you never push that 2-mile time, if you never try to run the 1150, right, you're never going to run an 1150, right? If you coast your way and you're like, oh, I'm chilling at a 1230, cool, you're never going to run faster than that then. You have to push the envelope, right? High intensity, push the envelope. Cool? Awesome. Fitness, the definition of fitness is work capacity across broad time and modal domains, okay, right here. Or the ability to do work, all right? Work capacity, how much work can you do, okay? If I give you the task, can you complete it? That's work. Now, here's a common thing that you guys are gonna do. Basic training, fill in sandbags, all right? Fill in sandbags. You'll fill sandbags and you'll move them from one spot to another, okay? You are doing work. Everyone just understands that definition, right? Doing work. Now, if that shit took you an hour, right, and you're gassed, that was your work capacity in a broad time. It took an hour, okay? You did an odd task, right? An odd object task. That was modal domain. Modal domain is doing anything and everything. I can put anything I want in this section, right? And what's your ability to perform it, right? So if I gave you a barbell, if I told you to go run, if I told you to carry something, if I told you to put some shit away, that's your ability to do work. What's your work capacity? How fast can you do it? And what am I having you do? Cool? Now, as you get fitter, do the same thing again 2 months later. Same exact thing, right? I'm gonna fill 50 sandbags and I gotta move them from here to here. 2 months ago, it took me 1 hour. Now it took me 45 minutes. That is a measurement of power output. Your power has now increased because your ability to do work across broad time in that modal domain has improved. So I know your power output has improved. Your ability to do work has improved, okay? And that comes from training, all right? So then we go one step further. Let's talk about practice and training. Practice is the neurological adaptation of movements. And what that means is that every single one of you, if I told you to get down and give me a push-up, you know what that looks like, right? Head nods. All right, cool. Participation. Here we go, guys. Sweet. If I told you to get down and give me a sit-up, you could do that, correct? Cool. If I told you to go run, hopefully you fucking got here somehow, right? You used your feet. So if I said in 10 minutes, I want you to do 10 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, and run 200 meters. Every single one of you can kind of process what I just told you, right? And I want you to go through that as many times as possible, okay? You are comfortable with your movement pattern that you can do that workout and get the correct stimulus. Now, how many of you even know what a snatch is? And I'm talking about a weightlifting movement. All right, sweet. Snatch, deadlift. Hands, how many people know what a deadlift is? Okay, cool. It's cool if you don't, all right? Let's talk about this. How many of you know what a ring muscle up is? Okay, sweet, not a lot of people. So my point is that if I told you to do something and you have no fucking idea how to do it, you won't be able to, right? You won't. So when you go to school and you learn something new, what do you have to do? You gotta crack open a book and you gotta study it. You gotta practice, okay? If I teach you something new, you need to practice the movement. When you practice the movement, you're teaching your mind to understand those movement patterns and what it entails, okay? And that brings us right here. Technique, okay? There is technique to a push-up, right? Everybody can agree. So you didn't just know, okay, this is how you properly do a push-up, and you did it, and like, oh, sweet, I'm a natural, okay? Someone had to show you and maybe made an adjustment at your hands, told you to bring your elbows in, maybe you need to get a little lower, maybe you need to lock out your elbows, right? There's something that we can improve. That was your technique. Hey, now I want you to do that a few more times, but I want you to be consistent. So I want you to show me that movement pattern again and again and again. I want you to show me that you can do that when you're tired and when you're fresh. But I want you to also be able to do it without me explaining it. So if I tell you to go give me a push-up, you need to be able to get down there and know how to do it by heart, right? Just like if you go and do any of your jobs, and hopefully most of you have jobs in some capacity, once you learn how to do your job, I hope that you're pretty consistent at it, right? So once you're consistent at it, we can add intensity. And we can train, right? So now think of that example I gave you just a little bit ago. Push-ups, sit-ups, and running. You guys know the technique. You know you're consistent with the movement patterns. So now you can add intensity. I'm going to tell you to go hard on it, okay? I'm going to tell you to empty the tank because I want that neurological adaptation. I want that physical stressor, right? I want the high intensity to bring results because I want your ability to do work to increase. Does that make sense? Sweet. So when you train, now we are putting our practice into play, and this is where I can add intensity and I get the adaptations, right? I get physical adaptations. So that 10, 20, 200 meter run in 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you to do it Monday. Next week I'm going to tell you to do it Tuesday. And in between that time you're training. And then I'm going to tell you to do it in 2 more months. So maybe you did 3 rounds, right? Maybe you did 3 rounds in 10 minutes. In 2 months, hopefully you did 3 rounds and you finished the push-ups and the sit-ups. In 2 more months, hopefully you did 4 rounds plus push-ups and sit-ups, right? Now, and this is like the math part that I'm not going to get in, I can plot that shit on a graph and I can see that your power output's increasing, right? Because then if I told you to do the same rep scheme that you did before, as in 10, 20, 200 in 10 minutes, but I want you to pace it for 3 rounds, what would happen? If it's the same 16-minute 2 mile, right? You would finish that last run and be like, okay, that's a warm-up. Rather than feeling like you're dying, right? But adaptation comes when you stress. Cool? Does that make sense? So does it make sense between practice, why you would practice something, and then training? Sweet, awesome. So, awesome, I'm hitting all of them. Cool. So, this one I just kind of threw in there, the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, and all that means is that as we drop body fat, I can put any little health markers on here. I can put your blood pressure, your heart rate, your cholesterol. I can put your triglycerides, I can put all these health markers or anything on here, right? And as you get fitter, your health markers will improve, right? Your body fat percentage goes down. We want to go from sick, which is, man, I am fucking always under the weather, right? Think of people who are in nursing homes, right? They're super sick. Most of us live somewhere in this range, right here. We're well, but sometimes we get sick. But the fitter you are, the less likely you are to get sick, okay? The more likely your body is to fight things off, okay? So we want to train. We want to work out. We want to be as fit as possible so we don't get sick, okay? All right. So we have what is CrossFit? Boom. That was that. Movement standards. Understanding that movement standards for functional movements or just movements in general need to be adhered to, right? As in, if I have you guys go and do a task at your job and you don't do it to standard, your job's not going to get complete, correct? Or if you cut corners, it's going to be a half-assed job, right? Someone's going to be upset. Well, that's your body, okay? If you cut corners on movement standards in order to do a workout faster or whatever, right, the only person that gets affected is you. That's it. So if the standard of the push-up is hands under the shoulders, nice brace position, I lower myself down, I press back up. That's the only standard. So when I'm training, what I don't want to see is like a PT test, we allow you guys to arch and sag in the middle, right? There's no rest position. Okay? So I wouldn't train, and now I'm getting tired, and then I let myself do this. Right here. Right? That's not training the movement pattern, and that's not training the movement to standard. So, if that's the point, go to your knees, shake out your arms, regain yourself until you can hit the standard again. Okay? Only the standard matters. The proper mechanical movement patterns, because that is what's safe and effective. All right? But that is what's going to bring you results. If you cheat the movement, you're only going to cheat yourself. All right? So it's kind of like, now, 95% of you guys, when you're doing these workouts, and those of you who have been here, I've seen some shoddy-ass movements. All right? There's sometimes a little wiggle room. Right? There's a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, maybe I'm not like doing everything exactly right, but the second things become so detrimental that injury is likely to occur or could occur, that's when you got to slow yourself down, pat the intensity back, and start being more consistent on the movement pattern. Once you regain that, then you can start amping it up again. Okay? As long as your consistency is there, I want you to go as hard as possible. Cool? Once you can no longer maintain your movement pattern, I need you to slow down so you can maintain the movement pattern. So this is just where people get like too amped up in workouts. They're going hard, and they'll let themselves go to shit because they're trying to get the best score or trying to win. Got it. There's a time and place to sell out, right? As in like the PT test. But when you're training, understand that you should train with a purpose. Cool? Train with a purpose. So, adhere to movement standards. Let's talk about structuring a workout. So the nice thing is if this is your first time coming today, you're going to get a kind of whole new glimpse of training, especially if you don't do CrossFit, and that's fine. If you've been here before, you already kind of have an idea of what to expect. What you guys are going to do is CrossFit, 100%, okay? But understand that CrossFit is right here, right? Continuously varied functional movements at high intensity. It doesn't have to be flipping on the rings, doing pull-ups, snatching a bar up overhead. It doesn't have to be that. Those are movements that we throw into a workout to have a result, right? To get a stimulus. But what we want is to train. So, for you guys who do not have a gym membership, who are limited on time, what you're gonna do today, you're gonna get these like real hard feels, right? You're gonna be like, oh man, that shit sucked, or that was really challenging. Holy crap, that was only 8 minutes, right? Like that's the point. That's the point. Yep. What was today's Sunday, right? Okay, yeah, Friday. My workout Friday was 8 minutes. That's all I did. That's all I did, okay? My average workout every day is 8 to 10 minutes. That's all I do. I'll do a lift, okay? But my average workout is that, and that allows me to stay fit. If I want to be fitter, I have to do more, which I enjoy lifting, so I lift, right? But to keep my body fat percentage lower, right? I still love pizza. But to keep my body fat percentage lower, to be able to run and pass my PT test, I still need to condition. My conditioning is 8 to 10 minutes a day on average. Sometimes I'll do a 20, some days I'll do a 3. And on that 3, that's like the worst one. Like I'm fucked up for half an hour, all right? But I sell myself out on 3 minutes, right? I go as hard as I can. Cool? So, structuring a workout. I'm gonna just show you guys 3 easy ways, okay? 3 easy ways, and I'll explain them real quick. An EMOM is every minute on the minute. Every minute on the minute, I'm going to perform X amount of reps of X amount of movements, okay? So, I'm gonna erase this. I'm not gonna lie, this is like the fastest I've ever gone through this instruction. This is great. All right, Any questions so far? Cool. All right, here we go. Every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. It's pretty straightforward, right? So every minute, every time it starts, the clock turns over, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. All right? I'm going to rest the remaining time. Then I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to do 10 push-ups. I'm going to rest the remaining time. All right? So at the end of it, though, I did 100 repetitions. That's completely different if I said, hey, I want you to give me 100 push-ups straight. Think about how that would feel. The problem is that you hit a fatigue point and you don't have the ability to recover. This is interval training, okay? High intensity, interval training, okay? You're gonna spike the heart rate, then you're gonna lower it down. Cool? Everybody can do that in their house. All right, I'll give you another one. 10 push-ups and 15 squats every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, or I can change it to every 2 minutes for 10 sets. So every 2 minutes, I'm going to do 10 push-ups and then 15 air squats. Cool? So now it's a completely different stimulus. All right? Or I can go every 2 minutes for 10 sets. I'm going to do 2 push-ups, 4 push-ups, 6, 8, and I'm just going to increase by 2. So now it's a different stimulus. So what I'm saying is that I can play with the workout format as much as I want to create a completely different workout. All right? And this is minimal space. This is literally the size of one of these rubber squares, and you can do that at your house. All right? And I promise you, you're going to get that stimulus as far as your heart rate's going to go up. You're going to breathe heavy, right? But you're also hitting that the muscular failure, right? That you need. You're getting the volume in of push-ups and air squats that you wanted. All right? And so at the bigger picture, at the end of that workout, you know, I did 150 air squats and I did 100 push-ups. Cool? And I did it for my level. So it's just finding the appropriate rep scheme that for you, and it's just playing around with it, okay? There is no correct workout. Just fucking train, all right? Just work out. That's better than doing nothing, all right? That's one. AMRAP is as many rounds as possible. So I'm going to take this same thing, and I'm going to do as many rounds as possible in 14 minutes. So in 14 minutes, I'm going to cycle through 10, 15 as many times as possible. Cool? Hey, what was your score? Oh, my score was I got 8 plus 6. That means I finished this sequence 8 times plus 6 push-ups. Cool? Now, I can redo this workout in 2 months. Now I got 10 plus 2. Now I know my power output has increased. My fitness has improved. Cool? So don't think you're limited by the gym, by not having a gym membership. And don't think you're limited because of time. Cool. I have 14 minutes. I'm going to warm up real quick, and I'm going to knock out this workout in my house. All right? So what I'm trying to show you guys is there's no excuse to not do something proactive in order to push your fitness in the right direction. Cool? Sweet. All right. Hey, any questions? Awesome. Hey, let's get fit.
All right. So he was talking about training. We have one person that is not signed in still. Is there somebody who had not signed in yet? Lady, did you sign in?